Hi, my name is Patrick. I've been training for CAT for more than 20 years. So this specific video is to help you prepare for the CAT verbal section. In the last 2 months, what you need to do for the CAT verbal section. So I also scored 100% in CAT 6 times. So fairly comfortable with how to go about cracking the exam, what you need to do best, etc. If you have any queries, you can always get back to me whenever you want. So let's start with in terms of what you need to do with regards to CAT verbal. So before that, let's look at the paper pattern. If you look at a verbal section of CAT, okay, CAT 22 this is, there are total 24 questions. From that 16 questions, two-thirds of the paper was reading comprehension. There were 3 para-summary, 3 para-jumbles, and 2 fill-in-the-blanks. But if you look at most of the questions in the exam are based on reading. You can say para-summary also is a type of reading as well. Okay, there is fill-in-the-blanks, which is okay. You need to look at it's more of reading as well as trying to understand what is there, and jumble para. So the key in cracking the CAT verbal section is reading. I've seen students and my own experience where if you don't do anything else for the exam, only read, that should suffice to do well in the exam. If you just want to score good marks, I think reading helps. But yes, if you still want to practice, you can practice VA, you can practice other areas as well. So let's look at what you need to prepare. So I would recommend to read for at least 1 hour, 1 to 2, if possible more, but yeah, at least 1 to 2 hours daily, depending on the time available. So if you're a working candidate, you don't have enough time, then 1 hour maybe. Okay. If you're good in verbal, maybe you can prepare less. But if you're at home, then at least prepare for a read for 2 hours or more. Reading becomes the most important part of your CAT preparation because somewhere reading also helps in your verbal, in your quant and a DRR section, because there it is important to read to understand the question. Now, from the reading, half the time that you read, okay, focus on reading something that you enjoy reading. Maybe novels, maybe articles on your hobby, or anything that you enjoy reading. It's important to enjoy your reading so that you do well. You enjoy it as such. Because unless you don't, if you don't enjoy reading, your reading habit will not be created, a good reading habit. A lot of people force themselves to read, but that doesn't help to create a good reading habit. It's always good to start reading something that you enjoy reading. Next, the rest of the time you spend on something on articles on varied topics. Like there's editorials of newspapers, anything, daily newspaper, business newspaper, any articles on different topics. One source for reading, articles on varied topics is you can go to this website, learn.with.rochelle.blogspot.com, which will give you a link to different articles from different websites for you to read on a weekly basis. How to prepare now for RCs? I normally say that if you read regularly, your RC is taken care of. You don't have to practice RCs separately. Anyway, when you're solving the mocks, you anyway solve the RCs which are there. So technically, you need not solve RCs separately at all. But yes, if you feel that even after reading your scores are comparatively low, then maybe you can solve 1 or 3 RCs daily. Okay, I would say 1 or 2, not more than that, because don't take time away from reading. Reading is the most important part. But yes, if you feel the scores are low, you're not improving the scores, or your scores are not is low, then maybe try solving RCs and see if it helps. Right? That is regarding reading comprehension. Regarding the remaining part, like para-summary, para-jumble, fill-in-the-blanks, my suggestion is spend around 15 to 30 minutes daily to practice these questions. They require a little bit of practice. Reading helps, obviously, but a separate practice to understand the fundamentals, how to plan, how to go about solving them helps. You can solve from the past CAT papers at one area. You can solve from the mocks of different classes, notes of different classes. You can look at these sources to prepare for these areas. So spend some exercises, 15 minutes to 30 minutes of each of these areas to help you prepare well. Now, normally what happens if your accuracy is low for verbal by chance, you're solving, but a lot of people find that your accuracy is low, then my suggestion is make a book, separate book, where you write down the mistakes that you're committing. For whatever mistakes that you do, write down and write down a reason. The reason could be that, oh, I did not read the question properly. Okay, reason could be that I misunderstood a complete passage and therefore couldn't answer the question properly. So write in a reason, because if you know your reason, you can correct it accordingly. Or you will be aware about the reasons when you're solving the mock next time so that you can avoid it. Also, go to these notes regularly. So whatever mistakes that you write in a book, go to it on regular intervals so you're aware about it. The best way to improve on your mistakes is to be aware about what mistakes are you committing and the cause for the same. Right? When you're writing the mocks, my suggestion is experiment with the mocks. A lot of people get low marks because they get stressed out in the mocks. But if you keep experimenting in the mocks, the stress levels could reduce a bit. Some experimentation that you can do is maybe in some mocks you can read really fast, some mocks you can read slow, and see what works for you. I normally recommend to read at a normal pace, because when you read faster than your normal pace, you lose out on comprehension. When you read slow, you lose out on time. So normal pace is a good pace to read. Okay, other experiment you can do is maybe first solve RC and then solve VA, or vice versa. First solve VA, then solve RC, or first solve one or two RCs, then VA, and then come back to RC. Experiment, see what works for you. Okay, unless you experiment, you would not know what works and what doesn't. Also, you can maybe experiment the time that you spend on selection of sets. How would I select? Should I read the first two lines to select the set? Or should I read a question to select the set, how the questions are framed, and so on? Experiment. Okay, my normal recommendation is first experiment in the section test. Take section test, like verbal section test, experiment out there, see which strategy works, and then you can experiment in the mocks the same. That should hopefully help, right? I hope this helps you with regards to your preparation for the verbal section last 2 months. Normally, what I've seen is in the last 2 months, if you read regularly, that will help you to improve your scores. Reading becomes most important as in when you come closer to the examination. To ensure you don't give up on reading. Also, don't give, even if your scores are low, the scores in verbal normally fluctuate a lot. But that's all right. I mean, don't give up till the end. Focus on your preparation and go ahead with it. Hope this helps. Thank you.